A good morning to you from wherever it is you're watching us from. This is Thav TV and I am Cyril Aloysius bringing you the newspaper review for today being the first day in the month of February in the year 2022. And just in case you're just seeing this video for the very first time, you're wondering what this video is all about. Well, like I said before, it is the newspaper review, a segment where we get to review various headlines and various newspapers across the nation. And just in case you might just want to react to any of the headlines, feel free to drop your comments in the comment section of any of our social media handles. On YouTube, it's at Thav TV. On Facebook, it's at Thav TV. On Instagram, it's at Thav TV_NG. And on Twitter, it's at Thav TV. Right about now, we shall be going on a short break, and when we return, we will be bringing you the reviews. All right, you're welcome back from that short break. Right now, we are going to be going straight to the newspaper headlines. And of course, amongst the first newspaper we have here is the News Direct. And amongst the headlines in the News Direct, the first headline here says, NASS, N-A-S-S, NASS, MDAs disagree on 80% revenue remittance into Federation's account. NASS, NASS, MDAs disagree on 80% revenue remittance into Federation's account. And that's on page 2 of the News Direct. Says a sub-headline here says, we will be rigid on MDAs to generate more revenue. We will be rigid on MDAs to generate more revenue. That's according to the Senate President. Another headline here says, Customs intercepts 3.9 billion naira cocaine inside bus conveying religious books. Customs intercepts 3.9 billion naira cocaine inside bus conveying religious books. That's on page 21 of the News Direct. Another interesting headline here says, Ogun to launch Education Trust Fund as OOU gets 1,600 bed hostel facility. Ogun to launch Education Trust Fund as OOU gets 1,600 bed hostel facilities. Another interesting headline here says, Kogi LGAs provide free Medicare to 300 communities. Kogi local governments provide free Medicare to 300 communities. And I think the last headline here we're going to be taking on the News Direct here says, MTN subscribers spend 46.41 billion naira on SMS. MTN subscribers spend 46.41 billion naira on SMS. Okay, that will be the much we can take on the News Direct. So right about now, we will be going straight to the Daily Trust. And amongst the headlines on the Daily Trust, we have 9 years after banks battle discourse over 820 billion naira debts. 9 years after banks battle discuss over 820 billion naira debts. Okay, that's on page 5 of the Daily Trust. Another interesting headline here says, bandits kill 9 in Sokoto, Kaduna, Niger, abduct 50 in Katsina village. Bandits kill 9 in Sokoto, Kaduna, Niger, abduct 50 in Katsina village. Another interesting headline on the Daily Trust here says, Senate sets 3 trillion naira target for revenue agencies. Senate sets 3 trillion naira targets for revenue agencies. Another interesting headline, Daily Trust here reads, how IPOB killed header. How IPOB killed header. Shot Igbo man's 30 cows. Shot Igbo man's 30 cows. The sub-headline under that particular headline reads, my animals worth 30 million naira. That's according to Peter Onyado. My animals worth 30 million naira, as according to Peter Onyado. Another subheading here reads, late Heather spent 20 years working for Igbos. Late Heather spent 20 years working for Igbos. Another subheading here says, killing despicable. Killing despicable. That's according to Mieti Allah. Mieti Allah. Okay, that will be the much we can take in the news direct, and we will be going straight to the Daily Sun. And amongst the headlines in the Daily Sun, we have federal government spends 264 billion naira on refineries, pipelines. Federal government spends 264 billion naira on refineries and pipelines. You can get all the information on that particular headline on page 2 of the Daily Sun. Another interesting headline here reads, 2023, hope rises as Buhari gets amended electoral bill for assent. 2023, hope rises as Buhari gets amended electoral bill for assent. A subheading on that particular heading reads, INEC pledges to hold elections as scheduled. INEC pledges to hold elections as scheduled. Urges federal government to address security challenges. Meets security chiefs. Urges federal government to address security challenges. Meets security chiefs. Another interesting headline on the Daily Sun reads, mass failure in police recruitment exams. Mass failure in police recruitment exams. 90% fail to score 30%, says PSC. 90% fails to score 30%, says PSC. Another interesting headline here says, EFCC returns 11 recovered property to Arthur Eze. EFCC returns 11 recovered property to Arthur Eze. That's on page 4 of the Daily Sun. You want more information on that? Do get a Daily Sun newspaper for yourself, a copy of it for yourself. Another interesting headline here says, JAMB shifts 2022 UTME to May. JAMB shifts 2022 UTME to May. That's on page 3 of the Daily Sun. A subheading on that particular headline says, introduces computer studies, physical and health education as new subjects. Introduces computer studies, physical and health education as new subjects. And of course, the last headline we shall be taking on the Daily Sun here reads, APC receives Reconciliation Committee's report. APC receives Reconciliations Committee report. That's on page 7. Okay, that will be the much we can take on the Daily Sun. Right about now, we shall be going on a short break, and when we return, we'll bring you more of the newspaper review. We will be right back. Stay with us. All right, you're welcome back from that short break, and right about now, we will be taking you straight to the Punch newspaper. And amongst the headlines in the Punch, we have APC February Convention uncertain. APC February Convention uncertain. Peace panel demands extension. Peace panel demands extension. A subheading under that particular heading reads, petitions still being submitted. Petitions still being submitted. We need one more week, says committee chairman. We need one more week, says committee chairman. Another headline reads, a subheading on that particular headline reads, APC registers 41 million members. APC registers 41 million members. Governor rules out convention postponement. Governor rules out convention postponement. Another interesting headline reads, Malami to decide Electoral Act Bill. Malami to decide Electoral Act Bill. National Assembly transmits document to Buhari. National Assembly transmits document to Buhari. That's also on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Over to another headline here. We have 243 firms. 243 firms just so for CBN's multi-billion naira loan scheme. 243 firms just so for CBN's multi-billion naira loan scheme. That's on page 21 of the Punch newspaper. Another interesting headline here says Okorocha unveils presidential bid. Okorocha unveils presidential bid. Knocks zoning. Ex-governor charged with 2.9 billion naira fraud. Charged with 2.9 billion naira fraud. That's on page 7 of the Punch newspaper. Another interesting headline here reads, human parts found with me for my ex-boss, promising 30 million naira reward. Driver, human parts found with me for my ex-boss, promising 30 million naira reward. That's according to a driver. That's on page 4 and page 5 of the Punch newspaper. You can get a copy for yourself if you want more details on that headline. Another interesting one here says, fear grips Ekiti community over influx of herdsmen. Fear grips Ekiti community over influx of herdsmen. Farms deserted. That's on page 7 as well of the Punch newspaper. And that will be the much we can take on the Punch newspaper. And over now to the Nigerian Tribune, we have, amongst the headlines, we have, as Constitution review ends this week, governors may lose immunity for criminal offenses. Governors may lose immunity for criminal offenses. Governors may lose immunity for criminal offenses. That's on page 2 of the Tribune. Another interesting headline here reads, NAS transmits reworked electoral bill to Buhari. NAS transmits reworked electoral bill to Buhari. That's on page 2 of the Tribune. Another one here says, David Mark heads Ekiti PDP post-primary reconciliation committee. David Mark heads Ekiti PDP post-primary reconciliation committee. You can get more information on that on page 25 of the Tribune. Another one here reads 2023. Tambuwal, Okorocha declare for president. Tambuwal, Okorocha declare for president. EFCC files 7-count charge against Okorocha over fraud. EFCC files 7-count charge against Okorocha over fraud. That's on page 25 of the Tribune. And lastly, amongst the headlines we're going to be taking on the Tribune, we have I was promised 30 million naira to deliver human parts for rituals. I was promised 30 million naira to deliver human parts, I beg your pardon, for rituals. Suspected ritualists, confessors. That's on page 27 of the Tribune. Okay, that will be the much we can take on the Tribune. We're going over now to the Daily Independent newspaper. And amongst the headlines on the Daily Independent newspaper, we have stakeholders rue 1 trillion naira annual loss. Stakeholders rue 1 trillion naira annual loss to absence of single window. Stakeholders rue 1 trillion naira annual loss to absence of single window. Another interesting headline here reads 2023 Gober election. 2023 Gober election. Akwa Ibom PDP stakeholders reject Governor Emmanuel's anointed candidate. Akwa Ibom PDP stakeholders reject Governor Emmanuel's anointed candidate. Says he is unpopular. Action may cause parties downfall. Says he is unpopular. Action may cause parties downfall. Arsonist sets Obasanjo's farm ablaze. Arsonist sets Obasanjo's farm ablaze. Arsonist sets Obasanjo's farm ablaze. You can get more information on that headline on page 7 of the Daily Independent. To bring you more headlines on the Daily Independent, we have NAS transmits Electoral Act Amendment. NAS transmits Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2022 to Buhari. NAS transmits Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2022 to Buhari. That's on page 29 of the Daily Independent. And of course, the last headline we shall be taking on the Daily Independent, we have National Assembly gives revenue agencies 3 trillion naira target for 2023. National Assembly gives revenue agencies 3 trillion naira target for 2022. That's on page 6 of the the Daily Independent. I beg your pardon. Okay, that will be the much we can take on the headlines for today. All right, thank you so much for sticking with us on today's newspaper review. And just in case you are just joining us for the very first time, please do well to follow us on all our social media handles. On YouTube, it's at Thav TV. On Instagram, it's at Thav TV_NG. On Facebook, it's at Thav TV. And on Twitter, it's at Thav TV. And also, do not forget to turn on your YouTube notification bell so you could be notified on our new videos coming up. All right, joining me today on the newspaper review is Mr. Victor, as we will be talking about some of the headlines in today's newspaper review. Stick with us. All right, thank you so much, Mr. Victor, for joining us today. Amongst the headlines that was read today, few of them actually caught my attention, and one of them was I think this banks battling discourse over 820 billion naira debts. What do you have to say about that?
Well, every businessman wants to make profits, and these banks, they are out there for profits. They have bills, they have payments to make. Okay, so in 2013, that was the time the full privatization of our electricity went into full swing. And the banks were able to finance many projects or many investors that acquired the discos, that's the distribution companies. So along the lines, they've not been remitting the monies as planned.
Okay.
And these monies, there is many of them, they had like 10 years to clear up their loans, and it's not been going well. Some haven't even paid up to 50%, and it's almost 10 years. So this time around, the banks are up there trying to acquire a much larger stake from these discos.
Okay.
If I can remember, in 2021, that's the last year, UBA, they were able to hold the grip with Abuja Electricity Distribution Company.
Okay.
And in December 2021, they were able to map up about 14 billion. As in, they were more like they were more like a receivership. Okay. Because receivership in the sense that every money that comes in, every money that these guys receive, they'll be the one to collect.
Okay. So
that there will not be loopholes where the company owner, as in the Abuja Electric Distribution Company, will be able to divert funds, or maybe say their expenses is more than what they make. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So recurrent expenditures, this time around, these guys were able to manage it, and they were able to pull out huge funds. Okay. Now you ask, why are these people unable to pay these monies? Mind you, they've been complaining that Nigerians are not paying enough for electricity. Okay?
Not paying enough.
We are not paying enough. So that's why they've been challenging any ROC, as in the bodies.
Do we have enough electricity to start with?
We do not have enough electricity. That one is a sure thing.
How can someone be complaining that we are not paying enough when they are not giving enough?
But mind you, they buy this electricity. Their work is to distribute, not to generate. Are you getting that? So they buy electricity, distribute. They need to get back the money that they've used to buy this electricity and give to the Gencos, the generating company. Are you getting me? So these guys are saying the monies we are paying are not enough. One. Secondly, electricity theft. Just, electricity is just more like buying any other commodity. Let's say you buy 100,000 worth of electricity units. These guys will buy it at a cheaper rate, then sell, put their profit and sell. Now, when this electricity in quotes is being stolen, you find out they can't meet up with their target.
Definitely, they won't be able to meet up.
So they've been crying that there should be stricter laws so that when people commit these offenses, they will be able to get back their money. And in some folds.
And of course, those persons planning on misbehaving as well would also learn from them.
Yes.
Definitely.
But another issue there is these guys are saying the banks are not helping them because they've seen the challenges that they've been facing, that they need to go back to the table and restructure the loans. Yes. And they're also complaining that the value that they bought these investments, that they acquired this investment in 2013, that it was overpriced. Do you get me? That they were not able to study.
Overpriced.
Yeah, they were not able to study the assets that they were buying. So please, that they should look into the matter for them. So I pray they come out of this in no long time.
We all pray they come out of it. So, all right. Another interesting headline that actually caught my attention was that of the mass failure in police recruitment examination.
I'm not surprised, man.
That particular one actually really struck me. I don't know. Please, do you have anything to say on that?
I'm not surprised. You know why?
They say, sorry, let me give you, I think, the sub heading. They said 90% fail to score 30%. 90% fail to score up to 30%.
That is below 39, which is failure. 90%. You can imagine the kind of police we have on the streets.
It's appalling.
Very, very.
It's appalling.
So how can they do their investigations?
It's really appalling. We are in a generation where we think that the whole act or service of policing has a lot to do with just your physicality.
Yes.
It goes beyond that.
Yes.
Police duty is actually more of intellectualism.
Sure.
If you're not sound up here, how do you now intend to investigate crime issues and get the actual criminals to book?
100%.
So it has a whole lot to do with more of your mental strength. So this particular headline is...
But now you ask, parents that have intelligent children, is the police a good place to send their kids to? Are you getting me?
Yes.
One, they are not being catered for, so the government has a part to play. In as much as the government has a part to play, the society also has a part to play.
It's a two-way thing.
If they make it very attractive in the sense that a policeman will do his or her job, and they will be well compensated. Bonuses will be there. A police house. Go to the police, what do you call them? Their barracks.
Where they stay.
Oh my God.
It's something to write home about.
Yeah. So it's not encouraging.
Why would I see my child, wanting to pick a career in something like a police force, and I'm happy. Say okay, go into it.
That's why you see desperate people joining the police force.
Yes.
People that they've seen that they are frustrated.
Yes.
They are sorry. They've got nothing up there, so they feel that they can't do any other thing. I bet make I enter police. At least the everyday that is coming out. Let me collect.
The usual slang. Make it for no loss.
My brother. So, my brother, it goes down to
it's really
education. Appalling. Education in the sense that if every child is being educated, then we now know that okay, you're not entering police, at least you have an education behind you.
Yes.
Right?
You have something to
You have some,
deliver.
at least let everybody be educated first,
Okay.
before we now start speaking who goes to the police force or
And
not.
who doesn't.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Victor, thank you so much for joining us on today's show. This will be the much we can take on today's newspaper review. Until we'll come your way next time, join us. I am Cyril Aloysius.